Hello, DNA Insiders Group. I am in such a good mood. I'm so excited, y'all. There is some really fun stuff happening, and you are going to hear all about it tomorrow. So I'm going to be overly cheesy tonight because I don't know, I feel like dancing. Like, I'm so excited. It's really awesome what we get to talk about tomorrow. So what are we going to talk about tonight? It's really funny to be this cheesy happy and be talking about MTHFR, but you know what? It actually is, because finding out if you suffer, if you have this genetic variation, you do need to do a dance when you find out, and I'll explain why. Okay, so again, do you remember, okay, I keep talking about the 3 different sections that we get to learn about in our DNA report. Is that upside down? Yep. We've got our vitamins, which we're going to talk about tonight. We've got our exercise, and we've got our food. So tonight, whenever and all of us, whenever we get with someone to go over their report, I fill this out, I make a few notes, we go over it together, and one of the things I'm always looking for is to see whether or not the friend has either the heterozygous or the homozygous mutation. To make it really simple, remember you got 2 genes, right? If they're, let's say this is normal. If you have 2 genes that are coded the correct way, then you're good. There's no variation. If you have 1 off, it's called heterozygous. And if you have 2 off, it's called homozygous. So this is more extreme, this is medium, and this is regular, right? Okay, so I'm always looking at that first, and then I want to explain what it is. So how MTHFR, like, I mean, it just sounds crazy. Like, what is it? Well, it is literally just letters that are abbreviations, I guess, for a very long word: methyl, tetra, something, folate reductase. That is the long scientific name of an enzyme. Now, this enzyme is made by a cell. The cell gets its instructions from the genetic marker right there, right? So again, if it's the regular, it gets the right set of instructions. If it's heterozygous, it's a little off, and if it's homozygous, it's more off. And what these instructions are doing are telling the cell to make this enzyme. This enzyme, if you could think of the word methyl something folate reductase, this enzyme is needed for our body to turn folic acid into folate. It does more than that. This is the biggest application that definitely applies to our lives right there. So methyl MTHFR helps take folic acid that you get and turn it into folate. Well, that is great. If you've got the standard genetics, the standard instruction manual for that cell and that enzyme, great, no problem. If you have the heterozygous, you got a little bit of a problem. If you got the homozygous, like myself, you got a bigger problem. Well, so what does that mean? So now let's just, from here on out, we'll talk about me. I found out, I didn't know to look. I did this test because I wanted to find out what to eat and how to exercise to get results. Because I was tired of trying so many different things, and I wanted to save money and time and just get. So I was like, well, I don't even know what that is. I had no clue. When I've been researching it, I could see there were some things that happened in my life that I can say, yeah, that was that. And so here's what's going on, let's say, with somebody like me. And if, for me, I make about 70% less of that enzyme. For someone that's heterozygous, they make about 40% less, okay? So you make 100% of it, you make 40% less than you should, you make about 70 to 80 less than you should, and that's me. So what happens if I'm not making enough of this enzyme? Well, we got 2 things going on. I'm gonna talk about this one first. Which one is that? I'm not sure. Okay, this is the one that says that you cannot turn folic acid into folate. Okay, now, so what's that folic acid doing? It's supposed to be turned into folate. Now it's not. So what's it doing? In my body, it's building up like a toxin. So all the years, in both pregnancies, when the doctor told me, take your folic acid, take your folic acid, take your folic acid. Prenatal vitamins are full of folic acid. And that's great if you don't have this genetic variation. But guess what? It's estimated up to 57% of the population in America has this. You hear me? 57, more than half, okay? So So what happens? So over the years, that folic acid that's not turning into folate builds up like a toxin. The results from that, the things that can happen, it's a long, long laundry list, which I'll get into in a minute. So that's over here, folic acid turning into folate, and it's building up in the system like a toxin. What's happening over here? Well, where's that folate that I need? I need folate, don't I? That's why I was supposed to take folic acid. What if this is now a toxin and I'm still not getting my folate? I had preeclampsia. That's one of the main things. Infertility and miscarriages is another. But not having enough folate is a real problem. So what I want to let you guys know is at first when I found that out, I'm like, what? And then I realized, okay, here's what I'm talking about. I need to stop taking folic acid and I need to start taking folate. Easy peasy. I showed you my ID nutrition the other night. I get folate in my strip pack because my DNA test marries up with my vitamins and it knows that I have this. So I'm getting the right amount of folate that I need. So that's done. Okay. So I'm getting my folate, but I really need to get rid of the folic acid in my life. So I'm not taking it in my supplements anymore, but don't you know, it was in a lot of places in my kitchen. It was in the cereals. It was in the processed foods that I probably maybe shouldn't have had anyway. Many items in my refrigerator. Because here's the deal. When it was kind of socially acceptable that we were going to start adding fortifying foods with vitamins, so think about why we do that. We process foods that have zero nutrition, so then we would fortify them. Like these sugar cereals for our kids have no vitamins in them, but they go and add it. So that's why it says really big, like vitamin D and folic acid, because they added it to it. So I had to go through, read the labels again. I've become a label reader again. I got rid of foods, but guess what? No more Lucky Charms, bring in granola, right? No more, I think it's Captain John Durst. No, Captain John Durst doesn't have it. No, I have to see that. But no more of like Sara Lee white bread, which I'm not saying I don't have that, but the breads maybe the kids are trying to force me to get, some Texas toast or something sometimes. If you just do like your good Ezekiel or sprouted grain, it doesn't have the folic acid in it. So it made me clean my kitchen, clean by getting rid of things that really shouldn't have been there anyway. And so I cleaned up my diet and I started supplementing right. I could feel it. I felt it so soon. And here's the other thing. So the deficiency in folate, another road that goes down is that causes your homocysteine levels to be too high. Homocysteine levels too high is the direct road to heart disease. Heart disease is the thing for my family. It's what gets most of them after the age of 70 or 80. I can't think of anyone that hasn't gone not related to the heart. And this is genetic, you know? So of course I got my mom and my dad have taken the DNA test. They're both heterozygous. So they're both one. Okay, I'm both. Guess what? My husband is both. So what do you think my kids are? So our entire house is doing its best to be folic acid free and getting our folate. I mean, how easy. Those are easy swaps and you feel it. And I want to read to you, if you have the MTHFR and you don't know it, because if you have it and you know it and you make a couple swaps, you're going to feel better. But if you don't know it, being deficient in folate and having your folic acid build up is going to lead to inability to lose weight. You can try and try all you want and you're not going to be able to lose it. Because another thing that's happening is when you have this mutation, you're unable to detox as well as you should. Methylation, the word methylate means to use, you know, to expend energy. You need methylation to detoxify. So if you're not living like this amazing, healthy lifestyle and you're not detoxifying, all of this eventually comes to fruition in one way or another. It just probably, in my opinion, it depends on where else your body is struggling a little bit. That's where it's going to manifest. But inability to lose weight, for sure. If you can't detox, you're not going to be able to lose weight. And you can Google MTHFR and weight loss, and you get flooded with articles on why it's hard to lose weight if you have the MTHFR. But if you start taking your folate and get your folic acid out, you're going to be fine. Chronic fatigue, when you're just always tired. And of course that goes along with insomnia, right? Because not being able to sleep makes you tired all the time, which is what we talked about last night. Irritable bowel, any of your gastrointestinal things, the IBS, autoimmune diseases, okay, Crohn's disease, thyroid, this thyroid thing, whew, there's more to it. There's more to it than what doctors are saying. And so, you know, I don't think I'll figure it out, but I'm sure looking. I sure want to figure out what we can do in our diet and what we can do in our daily lifestyle. Thank you, Melissa. What we can do in our daily lifestyle to help to be nice to our thyroid. It's certainly a matter of, okay, I'm not going to do all that. Okay. But thyroid issues, Hashimoto's, Graves' disease, hyper and hypo are a indication that you have the MTHFR. Remember, having it is not a disease. It doesn't mean you're doomed. It means you need to supplement with your folate and you need to get rid of your folic acid. Get your ID nutrition and that's going to take care of it, 100%. Depression and insomnia, those are two others. There's a much longer list. You can look it up. This is definitely one of those. You just need to know. You just need to know. I feel so blessed that I know that I have this. It is not it's not a sentence. It's not something that I can't fix. And to know that my 8-year-old son and my 13-year-old daughter, I can have an impact in helping to eliminate their folic acid buildup for their entire life, right? I am going to get them DNA tested, and I almost just said something there that I'm not supposed to say yet. I am going to get them DNA tested, and I guarantee you they're going to have it. Here's what the sheet looks like for this one. This is me over here. That's the double, the homozygous, be the heterozygous. That's where both of my parents landed. And this would be normal MTHFR enzyme production. And once again, how cool is this? Look, it's telling us the top 10 foods for folate. So if folate is, and when I was talking about the doctors and the prenatal medicine, prenatal vitamins and all of that, we'd be fine as long as the doctors would say, if the doctors would start saying folate instead of folic acid, okay? Because B9 is what we're after. And we're after the form that comes from food, because that's how our body knows how to take it or how to absorb it or how to pull it out of. And so some of you that are in the MOVE group will see when we do recipes, and I do a lot of recipes where I put the DNA thing on it, this is what I'm doing. I'm finding these foods and finding an amazing recipe using lentils, pinto beans, garbanzo beans, asparagus, spinach, black beans, avocados, turnip greens, and broccoli and beets, okay? Those are your foods. If you're eating those, you're gonna be good. So again, it's just knowing your instructions. It's the instruction manual for your body. I need these foods, and if I don't eat these foods, I'm gonna be in trouble, but guess what? I love these foods, so I'm gonna be fine. And let's see, is there anything else I need to say in here? I think that's it. Folate's essential for brain development and nerve function. It helps control levels of homocysteine. And here's my personalized guidance right here, just like always. Okay, so we have such fun announcements coming out tomorrow. So don't miss any of it, okay? Some of y'all were gonna be, not some of you, all of you will more than likely get a call or an audio text or something from us tomorrow, because we have a very special list that we're preparing that you're gonna wanna be on, okay? I'm gonna call it like Santa's nice list. We all wanna be on this list, I will tell you that. So anyway, that is all I'm gonna say. You're gonna hear all about it tomorrow. Don't miss tomorrow. It is gonna be so fun, and I love y'all. If I missed anything, comment there, but I hope this has been our 4 days diving into our report. I hope that y'all heard it loud and clear. This is something you only have to do one time. This is going to give you the puzzle pieces that you've been looking for. I mean, there's some people that if you're trying so hard and you just can't get there, sometimes it's not your fault. Sometimes you are actually working against your body. And imagine getting this in your email box to tell you what your body wants. And then just imagine what happens when you make the small changes and you see it and you feel it. I mean, the conviction, the satisfaction, the feeling of knowing that you now have done your absolute best. And then you're just gonna wanna share it. You're gonna want your children to do it. You want your spouse to do it. You want your mom and dad to do it. You know, I want my dad's taking his folate, okay? He's had heart surgery. He's got heart disease. He needs to get his homocysteine levels down. He's gonna do that by getting his folate. Guess what? He was taking folic acid. He runs a health food store. He was loading up on folic acid and he's got this. I mean, think of the power. Think of the power. It's crazy. And I know that medicine will catch up, but for right now, we've got to be really loud with this message. Stop with the folic acid. Unless you've taken the test and you know that your MTHFR is good, you know, the more MTHFR you have, the better, don't take it because you're after the folate anyway. But if you're taking cheap vitamins and eating cheap processed foods, you're going to get the cheap synthetic folic acid. If you want the good stuff, get the good vitamins, get the lentils, get the green foods, get your good stuff, and, you know, just start being responsible. I'm sorry I went off on a little bit of soapbox. It's so simple. It's simple. You can feel so much better. You can sleep better. And your skin starts looking better. And it's just, oh, so much better. So, I know. I'm fired up tonight. I'm fired up tonight. So y'all have an amazing night, and I cannot wait to talk to y'all tomorrow. Bye.